Welcome to Sport Tales NFL Week 6 picks. First up, we have the Broncos at the Chiefs. Straight money line, I would pick the Chiefs. And for spread at 10.5, I'll take the Broncos. Believe it or not, Russ is actually outperforming Mahomes this year. But because the Broncos' defense is such dog doo-doo and they are losing games, Russ is still getting a lot of the blame. And as of this video, Travis Kelce is still questionable to play. With or without Kelce, I would still take the spread on the Broncos. No matter how good or bad a team is, division games are usually close. The 5-12 Broncos came within one score in both games of their division matchups last year versus the Super Bowl Chiefs. Ravens and Titans in London. Ever since the Titans upset the 14-2 Ravens a couple of years ago in the division round, these two have had a bit of a rivalry, stepping on each other's logos. Now this one is a bit of a tricky one. The Titans always seem to play good teams really good and then lose the teams that they should beat. So I'm going with the Titans and the Titans for the spread at 3.5. Panthers at Dolphins. The Dolphins are coming into this game with the number 1 ranked offense, the Panthers with an average defense, and a bottom 10 offense. On top of that, a struggling Bryce Young. I see this as being a mutilation of the Panthers. So Dolphins money line and spread at 13.5, as I expect the Dolphins to win by 3 scores or more. Colts at Jaguars. Now out of these last 11 matchups, the home team has won. The only exception coming back in week 1 earlier this year when the Jaguars beat the Colts back in Indianapolis. And no matter who has the superior team, it seems like the Colts have struggled in Jacksonville over the last couple of matchups. With the Jaguars having the superior team, as well as beating the Colts earlier in the year and now playing at home, I'm taking the Jags on the money line and on the spread at 3.5. Vikings at Bears. Now Kirk has been absolutely balling this year. But despite that, his team is 1-4, and the only game that they have won is a game, well, Kirk Cousins played his worst. All of their losses are one-score games, and the biggest culprit of that is turnovers, as the Vikings lead the league in turnovers with 12. Also, Justin Jefferson is out. So this, along with Justin Fields coming off back-to-back 4-touchdown games and improved play, I'm actually going Bears on the money line and Bears on the spread at 2.5. Saints at Texans. Now this one is a toss-up. CJ Stroud is playing mistake-free football and is making the Panthers wish they would have took him at number 1 instead of Bryce Young, as he has thrown the most pass attempts as a rookie without an interception. Now on the other side, you have the Saints ranking in at number 4 on total yards allowed on defense, and coming off a total thwomping of the New England Patriots, handing Bill Belichick his worst loss in franchise history on the 8th ranked defense. I am leaning Saints on the money line, and on the spread, basically flip a coin, because I think that's going to be based on how well CJ Stroud does against the Saints defense. Seahawks at Bengals. I am taking the Seahawks on the money line and on the spread at 2.5 on this one. The Seahawks in week 1 lost to their kryptonite team in the Rams, then in week 2 outlasted the Lions' high-powered offense, and in weeks 3 and 4 had easy games and they won pretty handedly, and coming off a bye week, I think they are well rested. The Bengals are coming off a good win against the Cardinals, where Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow again. But again, this is a Cardinals team that is 1-4 with a bottom 10 defense. Joe Burrow has been extremely inconsistent, and we still don't know the full extent of his injury, so I'm going to have to see more from Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals before I pick them again. 49ers at Browns. The Browns have the number 1 ranked defense in the league, but do get the advantage due to having one less game than a lot of other teams coming off their bye week. But their starting quarterback, massage enthusiast Deshaun Watson, is still questionable with a shoulder injury, and Nick Chubb is still out. Meanwhile, the 49ers have been executing teams out here, having the top 3 ranked offense and defense, and scoring at least 30 points a game and winning by double digits in all their games. Except for the Rams game where they kicked a last-second field goal to basically not beat that stat. So you better believe I'm going Niners money line and spread at 6.5. I'm honestly surprised it's not more. Redskins, that's right, Redskins, not whatever name is listed there, at Falcons. So the Redskins are basically this year's NFL's box of chocolates team. They have an epic comeback against the Broncos, then get dissected by the Bills next week, then hang with the Eagles, almost upsetting them in Philly the following week, just to lose to the Bears, who hadn't won a game in nearly a year. They face off against a guy who's undefeated at home, somehow. Because of this, I'm going Falcons money line and Falcons on the spread at 2.5. Patriots at Raiders. Now, there's nothing special about the Raiders aside from having the best receiver in the league, decent quarterback but with a coach that makes questionable calls, and an average defense. Now, Mac McCorkle started off pretty good against Philly and looked pretty decent against Miami and New York, but completely forgot how to play football against Dallas and New Orleans. Now, the Saints and Cowboys do have defenses in the top 5, and the Raiders have a mid-tier defense. I think Belichick will double down and Mac will bounce back. So I'm going Patriots with money line and Patriots on the spread at 3.5. However, if Mac has another abysmal game, I see him getting benched the rest of the season in favor of Bailey Zappi. Cardinals at Rams. Now, the Cardinals have been playing better than anyone has expected, but the Rams have been in competitive games and hung around with teams like the Niners and the Eagles. With Cooper Kupp back, along with finding Cooper Kupp 2.0 with Puka Nacua, I see the Rams offense as being too much to handle, so I'm going Rams money line and Rams on the spread at 6.5. Lions at Buccaneers. Now, the Bucs have been one of the biggest surprises of the season. Their defense is just outside the top 10, and Baker Mayfield is having a bounce-back year playing efficient football. But the Lions have an explosive offense ranking in the top 6. Because of this, I'm going Lions on the money line and Lions on the spread at 3.5. Eagles at Jets. I am an Aaron Rodgers fan, so I'm wanting the Jets to win. The Eagles are squeaking out one-possession victories aside from the Rams game. Zach Wilson is showing improvements since the Chiefs game, but if I'm a betting man, which I am, I would pick the Eagles on the money line. But I am taking the Jets on the spread at 6.5 because it seems like the Eagles like to keep games close. Everyone thought KC would blow out the Jets, but it ended up being a close game. The only way I see the Jets winning is them playing a perfect game and the Eagles beating themselves. So this is the Eagles' game to lose. Giants at Bills. I just gotta say, guys, we are so lucky to see the Giants again in prime time. Now, excuse me while I throw up. The Giants have been getting wrecked, losing games by double digits. Meanwhile, in wins, Buffalo have been steamrolling their opponents. Danny Fumbles is out with a neck injury. Saquon is limited in practice, so he's likely out. And the O-line has holes bigger than Swiss cheese against a Bills defense that's just outside the top 10. So yes, I'm going Bills on money line and Bills on the spread at 13.5. Cowboys at Chargers. The Choke Bowl Part 2 to see who can out-choke each other, as the Vikings won the Choke Bowl a couple weeks back, out-choking the Chargers. Now, the Chargers have a high-powered offense ranking number 5, even with the bye week, and Dallas used to have a high-ranking offense until they put up a whopping 10 points against the Niners and struggled to move the ball downfield. Now, here's the caveat, though. The Chargers have the second worst defense in the league, while the Cowboys' defense is still ranked number 5. Now, I think this game can go either way, but with the Eagles getting a bit of a lead on the Cowboys in the division, I think the Cowboys will squeak out a win. But again, this will depend on what teams show up and whoever chokes the least. Now remember, when it comes to betting, do not bet with money that you are not willing to lose. Do not go and bet the house and expect to win a fortune, because you may also lose the house. And never go bet blindly. Always make sure to do research, as I'm sure some of you have different picks than I do and have facts to back that up as well. And no matter how much you prepare or research, the opposite result can happen, because in the NFL, anything can happen any given Sunday. Now, if you liked the video, please give me a like, comment below, subscribe, click the little bell for notifications. And if you're on TikTok, follow me there, and on Instagram, follow me there as well at sport_tales_.